we discovered that law of exponents. Our first one, I told you there's going to be 3 big ones we're going to do. And that first one said, hey, keep the base the same and add the exponents. Keep the base the same and add the exponents. That was our. So today as we look at our practice though, guys, I want to kind of chunk this a little bit. We're going to do some little chunks. So what I want you to do is just draw a line right above questions 5 and 6, just like I have up on the board. We're going to chunk this a little bit because when we discovered that property yesterday, we kept it pretty basic. Now we're going to build on that property. So just draw a line. It doesn't have to be perfect. We don't got to grab a ruler out or anything. And let's take a look. Let's just refresh on that property from yesterday. Then I want to give you guys a chance to try out the remaining few in that top part. So our rule yesterday said keep the base the same and add the exponents. That is when we're multiplying, remember. That's when we're multiplying. So I have the same base of 4, so I keep that base the same. And then I'm just going to write it up here so we see that step. I'm going to add the exponents together. So we get 4 to the 4th. And we're just going to leave it that way. I know you guys all know how to pop that in your calculator and tell me what that is. So we're just going to leave it that way. Please go ahead and finish 2, 3, and 4. See what you think. See what you think on those. And then we will talk about those. And then again, we're going to keep building on that rule. All right, so let's take a look. I asked you guys to do 2, 3, and 4. Let's take a look at those. Maybe we're kind of stuck. I saw a few people skip number 2, and they're still kind of sitting there on number 4. On number 2, I could see why we get a little bit stuck. I've got 4s. My base is the same. That's not a problem. But this first 4 doesn't have an exponent. Or does it? An exponent of 1. Mathematicians, guys, they can be kind of lazy. If you have an exponent of 1, they're just like, nah, we don't need to write that. So there is an exponent there, but those lazy mathematicians are like, if it's a 1, we're not going to write it. So please take a look at question 2 and make sure that you do have 4 to the 3rd power. That is an exponent of 1. I saw a lot of 2s as I walked around. So take a little minute here and look at your question number 2. Look at your question number 2. I saw a couple 4 to the 2nd powers as I walked around. So make sure you have 4 to the 3rd.
If you're confused on that, you can draw also like write out 4 times 4 times 4. So it's still 4, 3.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and expand that out. If you're like, Miss Golly, where'd you get 4 to the 3rd? I still don't see that exponent. Well, if we expand out like we did yesterday, we have a 4. And then 4 to the 2nd power is 4 times 4. So we do have 4 to the 3rd power. There is a 4 there. So be careful on that. Now, number 3, as I walked around, number 3 was looking good. Well, number 3 looks a lot like number 1. We've got a couple exponents there. My base is 3. 2 plus 2 gives me 4. 3 looked really good as I walked around. Now, I know a few people got stuck on number 4 because number 4 looks a lot like question 2. That first 1, that first 2, there's no exponent written there. You gotta think about those lazy mathematicians when they came up with exponents. There really is a 1 there. So if you come across a base and it looks like there's no exponent there, one of the easiest things you can do is put a 1 there. And as I was walking around, I saw a few people, they were even going ahead on their sheet and they were starting to put in those 1s. I'm going to put that 1 in every time. So I have a 2 for my base all the way across, so I can do my rule. And then it's going to be 1 plus 2 plus 2. We have 2 to the 5th.
That's so good.
We have 2 to the 5th. So again, double check yours. Maybe you missed out on that exponent of 1. So make sure on number 4 you do have 2 to the 5th. Okay? Now those top 4, the reason why I had you draw a line there is because those top 4, that's exactly what we worked on yesterday. That's as complex as we went yesterday. So let's take a little look down. The same rule is going to apply, but why does question 5 look different? Why did I say, hey, wait a minute on question 5? What's different about it, Sam?
Because of the way of the letters that has with the numbers.
Yeah, so instead of just having those ends there we're multiplying together, we went ahead and we stuck some coefficients there. Coefficients are the numbers in front of the variable. The coefficients are those bigger numbers in front of the variable. So, what do you think we're going to do with those? What do you think we're going to do with those? I know what we can do. Let's expand this out. Let's expand it out and see what happens. So we have a 2, and this is what I want to make sure we're seeing. The 2, it's just a 2. It's not to the 4th power. There's no exponent on the 2, besides a little 1 if you want to throw it on there. 2 is not to the 4th power. The n is, so we're going to have an n times an n times an n times an n. The n is to the 4th power. Then we have times the 5. Guys, that 5 is just a 5. It's not to the 4th power. The n is n, 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 n. We're multiplying everything together. I only have 1, 2 there, so I can do 2 times, I just have 1, 5 there. How many n's do I have, though?
8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 of them. So those exponents of 4, they just go with the n. What do I do with the 2 and the 5? What can I do? What can I do, Chase?
Maybe 2 times 5
2 times 5 would give me?
times NA.
All right, 2 times 5 would give me 10. I can multiply those together.
Oh no.
And then, Chase, you said we had n to the what?
N to the 8.
N to the 8th. Because I have 8 n's I'm multiplying together. So here's my 8 n's. So don't let that coefficient, that number in front of the variable, don't let the coefficient throw you off. It doesn't have an exponent. So we're just going to multiply those coefficients together, and then we're going to keep adding our exponents. Let's do number 6 together, and then I'm going to give you guys a chance to take a look at the rest of those on the front side of the sheet. But the reason why I want to look at number 6 together is because of that first R. I don't want us to get stuck like we did in number 2 and number 4. What's the exponent on that R? That very first R. What's my exponent here really? Same thing we did in question 2 and question 4. It's really a 1.
Wait for me. Wait for me.
So we have that exponent of 1. The 6 and the 5, all I can do is multiply the 6 and the 5 together, and I'm going to go ahead and group those together. Again, how much you write on your paper is up to you, but I just want to show you the 6 and 5 are going to be multiplied, and then you have your R to the first and your R to the second. I'm just grouping those things together that are similar. 6 times 5 gives me 30. I have r to the first times r to the second. I keep the base, and I add the exponents. I keep the base, and I add the exponents. What I would like you to try, I want you to try finishing the front side of this sheet. So that's up through question 12. And then we'll get a chance, we'll get some people up and moving here. We'll get some people up to the board and see what they think. I'll leave my examples up there. So go ahead and try out just the front side. Just up through question 12, please. Hey guys, what might be a good idea is to just go through and put those little 1 exponents in there that are missing. So on number 8, I'm gonna put a 1 on the K. In number 9, I'm gonna put a little 1 on that second B. So it might not be a bad idea to even just look down the page before I even try the questions and put in all the ones that are, I call them missing. Put in the ones that are missing. That might just help you out a little bit on some of those. Number 8 is 6k to the third. Number 9 is 40b to the third. Number 10 is 12x to the third. Number 11 is 12x to the third. And number 12 is 36x to the fourth. If you need to put those ones in, if those tripped you up, if you're like, Miss Golly, I still understand why number 12 has an exponent of 4. There is one x there. So put in those ones if you need to. The people that came up to the board, a lot of them were putting the ones in for us, which is great to see. So let's go ahead and flip our sheet over. Yeah, after this we will. All right, so let's go ahead and flip our sheet over. Now, as you're looking at the back, you're like, oh, Miss Golly, man, I was feeling really good after the front. Now you're going to throw a bunch more stuff here. Now, I know you're looking at the back like, oh, all these problems. Hey, here, let's make it real cool right now. Go to question 21. Draw a line. We're not going to do those bottom questions today. We're going to stop at number 20 today. I just want to talk to you about number 13. And then I'm going to let you guys turn loose to finish those. And then we'll have some people up to put some answers up for us. Then we'll take a little break. Okay? So we're looking at 8 problems. And we get to take a break. So number 13, and you're like, oh, Miss Guy is feeling really good about the front. Now you're throwing 2 variables at me, and there's 3 different things we're multiplying together. Hey, that's okay. The rule hasn't changed. I'm still going to multiply. I'm going to take the 7, the 10, and the 8. I'm going to grab those coefficients, and I'm going to keep using that word coefficient, so hopefully start sinking in for us. And then I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to put I'm going to go alphabetical. I'm going to put the U's together. This second U is missing a 1, so I'm going to put the 1. And then I'm going to put the V together. I know, my V's and U's kind of look alike, guys. Sorry about that. So it hasn't changed. Just because we now have 3 things we're multiplying together, and we've got 2 different variables, it's not going to change. 7 times 10 is 70 times 8, 560. If you need a calculator for something like that, guys, that's fine. I'm not testing you on if you can do some multiplication. So if you need to grab your calculators, go ahead. And then we have U to the 4th. And now my V's, guys, I know I've got 3 different V's here, but I'm still going to add them all together. 3 plus 5 is 8, plus another 3 is 11. So our rule hasn't changed. And I know you're looking at that problem like, Miss Golly, there's a lot of stuff there, and you're right, but we don't treat it any different. We multiplied the 7, 10, and 8 together. We put the u's together and added the 3 and 1. We put the v's together. Even though there's 3 of them, that's okay. I can add all 3 exponents.
This is so hard.
I want you to go ahead and try. Go ahead and try those remaining 7. And we'll be walking around to kind of check you out as you go. And we'll have some people, once we have a really good start, we'll have some people put the answers up for us. And then we'll take a little break before we start working on our second property. I think we have a couple people stuck, guys. So if you're stuck, if you're sitting there staring at 14 like, oh, Miss Golly, it looks like too much. I'm going to do number 14 up here. So if you need help on 14, follow along with me. If you did 14, check yours with mine. 9 times 9, 81. Now here's where we have to be careful though, that x really has an exponent of 1, not the 2. This 2 is just for the y. That 2 is just for the y, not the x. So we're going to have x to the, we have 1 plus 5. And then y, we have 2 plus 2. So check your number 14. Make sure you're on the right track. Make sure you're on the right track with 14. If you need some help, let me know. Mr. Andrews or myself can be around to help you out. Remember, guys, don't let those little 1 exponents throw you off. In number 17, I'm not going to put any other answers up here yet, but I just want to give you some hints. Number 17, guys, on that u, there is an exponent of 1. On 18, the u has a 1, the v has a 1, and that u has a 1. Don't let those exponents of 1 throw you off. Don't let the exponents of 1 throw you off. Don't forget about those. We can't just leave that u out of it because it only has an exponent of 1. So be super careful on that. So for the bottom 6, 6 times 8 is 48. M, we do 3 plus 2 is m to the 5th. Oops. Guys, with a little technical difficulties there. So number 15, we would have 48. M, 3 plus 2 is 5. And then we have N, 3 plus 3 is 6. And number 16, 6 times 6 is 36. X, we have 2 plus 3 is 5. Y to the 4th. And number 17, 7 times 9 is 63. Then we have u to the 2 plus, remember there's a 1 on that second u. V to the 5 plus 3 is 8. Number 18 looks a little different. We don't have that coefficient. There's no number in front of the u. If you want to, if it helps you, you can put a 1 there if you want to, but you don't need to. 1 times 4 would give me 4. U to the, we have 1 plus 1. Remember, those u's really have 1s. 1 plus 1 will give me 2. V to the 1 plus 5 is 6. Number 19, 10 times 8 is 80. X to the 1 plus 5 is 6. Y to the 3 plus 3 is also 6. Don't forget there is a 1 on that first x. And then in number 20, we have 3 times 7 is 21. U to the 4 plus 2 is 6. V to the 5 plus 3 is 8. So go ahead and check yours over.